What's up? Oh man. What's going on, friends? Or whoever you are. If you're not my friend, welcome nonetheless, I suppose. So I made a little poll. No, I didn't. It was like a comment. I said, what's something I need to talk about? Just, I don't know. What do I need to talk about? And only one person responded. And he suggested talking about shamanism. And my experience with it, well, I hate to be disappointing, but I have zero, you know. But I have an idea of what I can talk about in this video here. I don't have much shaman experience at all. I've never met one that I know of. I've only even talked to a fucking priest like once in my life. And that's, I was telling him where a product was located in our store. That's the only time I ever talked to a priest. I was like, it's right over there, it's down this aisle. So I have like zero to little experience with holy men, shamans, priests, druids, vates, you know, the whole damn thing. I got none. That's just kind of how it is. I've always been kind of scrambling in the dark. I've talked about it before. You know, I feel very, I don't know where to go and how to do anything. I'm very lost in this world, and I would love to have met one, but I've never have. But I will say, I can talk about something more interesting, and I thought maybe I could re-explore it in my mind because it's very strange. Now, I've been watching a lot of little videos of people talking about fairy and fae folk, encounters, musings, all this kind of stuff. I've been really listening to that a lot, and I got thinking like, man, I don't think I've ever really met one. I live in America. I don't know if that makes it different. I have no idea how this stuff works, but I have had fucking weird encounters in my life. My sister's had way more, but I've only had a couple, but these ones were pretty significant. So I'm gonna give you a little backstory of how this works. Growing up, from the ages of being born all the way to 13 years old, we lived in this small trailer park in the middle of the forest and fields, the crops and the forests and stuff. We were just right smack in the middle, right? Just very country. It's very rural, very out of the way. Maybe less than 200 trailers in this trailer park. It was very small. And it was surrounded by these woods. And we've always kind of knew as kids and getting older that there was something really messed up about these woods. Not to go in them, right? It's just something wasn't right. I don't know how to explain it to you, but a lot of kids knew it. It was just like, don't fuck with them. Don't go in the woods alone. This is something out there that's scary. And we knew this growing up, so we tried not to. I'll return to that part of the story later. But anyway, growing up in this place, it was very small, and there were groups of kids that would hang out, and you know, I found myself being kind of with like two guys because we were like the outcasts. We were the dorky kids. We liked Star Wars and playing hockey. Like, we're the douchebags. So we didn't like the thuggy music and wearing our pants all baggy. You know how people are. Stupid. As we got older, a lot of things happened along the way, but I want to tell this story, which was the last of my experiences in this place called Lee Villa. I was over 13. We had moved out because our trailer, it just kind of fell. And when we were trying to fix it, we learned there was a lot of black mold in it everywhere. And so we just had to leave it and had to get torn the fuck down. There was holes in the floors. The ceiling was caving in. I didn't have a room because the ceiling caved in, so I had to like share a room with my sister until the age of 13. It was pretty weird and rough. But this is how it was, you know? Now, we came back some years later because we had some friends that lived there. These Mexicans that we used to always hang out with. Because that's when Mexicans started moving in there. It was very interesting. Culture shock, right? So anyway, I don't know if I was from 16 to 18. I don't know. I was somewhere in there, maybe a little younger. I can't really remember. Probably around that age. And we came back because the friends lived there, and we were going to stay the night and kind of camp in the yard. And it was one of the strangest encounters, man. So we were all in the tent, me, my sister, and her friend. We were just in the tent, you know, talking and being kids or whatever. And then we wanted to go out. It was very dark out, pitch black, after, 10 o'clock. And I got out of the tent, and then I heard them bickering back and forth about zipping the tent up because of mosquitoes, and they were at it. They're like, "Fucking, you gotta do it like this, man." And I was like, whatever. So I popped out of the tent, and we were in the back of trailers. So imagine there's a trailer here and a trailer there, and there was this yard in the middle, and we were in the back. And there was a big, tall, 12-foot fence, wooden fence, behind these two trailers. And I was standing at the back, waiting for them, and I looked over at the neighbor's trailer, and I could see the back of this trailer, and out around the side, poked out literally like this, from here's the wall, was a face. It's so weird because in the moment, all the things that go to your mind, I looked over, I saw it was a girl. And in microseconds, you can process a lot. At first, I was like, there's a younger girl looking at me, and she's smiling. Interesting. But the more I saw in those microseconds, the more I'm like, wait a minute, her face is kind of glowing. Weird. There's no light, unless it's the moonlight, I don't know. And it was very white, very pale, glowing face, black, long hair. And then I started realizing her smile wasn't kind, it was evil. Like, I don't know how to explain it, an evil smile. And then I was like, what the fuck? I don't know, she just was dead eyes looking at me, evil smile. And I looked away, I looked back, and she was gone. And then I told them, like, we gotta run. And so we ran up to the front of the trailers where the street was, and the cars are all parked on the sides of the streets. I told them what I saw. We wanted to go investigate it. We could not find her. The rest of that night was us walking around because of more and more fucked up things started to kind of happen. We felt like we were being chased by some sort of entity. We kept trying to hide from it, and we were walking around the trailer park armed because we were that scared. And we were just trying to stay up and just get through this night. Now, not much more significance happened that I can recall. But I really wanted to think about that woman, girl thing that I was looking at. I just cannot get out of my head. And if I were to think of it, do you remember the movie The Ring? That girl that would crawl out of the television, right? The long black hair. Mix that with the Poltergeist movies. Remember how that girl in the bed was possessed by a demon and how her face looked? Mix those two together and you have what I saw. And when she was looking at me, she had an evil smile on her face. But I don't know if she meant me harm. I don't know if she was trying to scare me. I have no clue. I don't know who she was. But from that point in my life going forward, anytime that I was woken up by a woman, so like my girlfriend that lived with me, or my wife now, or chicks I've been with in the past and I stayed at their house or whatever, when they wake me up, the first thing I think is happening is a witch, which I assume is what that being reminded me of, is trying to harm me. I swear to God, so to this day, I'll think when a woman comes and wakes me up from my sleep, I'm always like, why are you trying to kill me? What do you want? It's instant. I've had a woman come and give me a drink in the night, or woke me up because I needed a drink because I must have been snoring or I must have been having a bad dream, I don't know. And I would not accept the drink. I was like sleepy, and I was kind of looking at her. I'm like, you're gonna fucking poison me. This is poison. You're trying to kill me. It's so weird, right? But ever since that being, I've just had this kind of relationship with women. I was very distrustful, and it's kind of plagued me ever since. And I feel maybe I have this, you could say, a possession of a succubus. I don't know. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I don't have a lot of more experience in that regard. But she's really it's ingrained in my mind, that face that I saw, because it's just a glowing, pale, white, black-haired face staring at me with an evil smile. And I saw that in real life. And still to this day, I don't know how to interpret that or feel about it. But I'll go back to the trailer park. So, as I said, we all kind of knew there was something alarming about this place. The only encounters that I can recall, more than that, that are very mystical, if you want to say that, or fairy-like, my sister had. When she was very young, in our yard, a very small yard. I've talked about this place before. No bigger than like 14 feet across. She was outside playing by herself. I don't know where I was, because we're only almost 2 years apart. I think 14 months. So a year and a half. We're Irish twins, basically. And she was outside playing, and she heard the sounds of drum. Doo, 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 doo. And she got scared. So she tried to go inside, but she couldn't. Interesting how that echoes what happens in my dreams. And as she looked out, she says, I swear I saw this. It's going to be hard to believe because I was such a little kid, but it was a man on a horse. She couldn't see his face or anything like that, but he was there, and he came with the sounds of drums. And then her memory kind of went away after that. Another strange encounter. Years later, she might have been over the age of 14 and no younger than 17, where her and her friend were walking around late at night. She went to go stay at her friend's house, who was a few trailers away, and they were walking around at night talking and stuff. And as they went down the road, the one that looks straight on to the entrance of this forest, swear to God, she sees something white coming out of the forest. Kind of glowing in a sense. And the closer it got, the more she realized it was a limping, what looked to be a wolf, a white wolf limping out of the forest, but running on its back hind legs. But it was like limping as it was running out, and she said she couldn't tell if it was running towards them or just running out of the forest, and it might have been injured, who knows. And they fucking booked it. Both of them saw it. Both of them did. Now, oh, I didn't realize that. That's terrifying. Okay, well, whatever. But there's something about the land in which we live in that does have some strange things about it. And that forest back there, we always knew not to go to it. It was just too scary. And I really wish I could sit down and tell you all these stories, but I never had a whole lot of encounters like that. It was more my sister. She's kind of like my wife, is more in tune with this otherworldly stuff. I'm not. I want to be, but I'm not. And part of that's probably because I don't see things as fascinating. It's so mundane to me. I'm just kind of like... But she's had a lot of strange encounters. There was always this weird being. When we would leave the trailer, me and my mom and dad would go shopping, and she would stay home with her friend. They'd have to leave the trailer because it was so scary, and they could hear something running up and down the trailer from the outside, and our dog was barking crazy at it. Like some kind of entity was in our trailer. And this place, you know how I talk about my family and how depressed I am about them because they're so downtrodden, they're so broken, they're so crippled by life and stuff. I really think there's this entities that has infested us. It took me a while to get away from them, and I really do feel like there's some possession and weird entities that live in that realm, that little land there, that forest. We always used to talk about as kids that maybe it was an Indian burial ground, but we never knew, you know, that was just guessing from like Pet Cemetery kind of shit. We were just like, I don't know, maybe that's what's going on. There's like something here that's cursed. And there really was. There's a lot of strange encounters. When I was really young, there was this old house. So the trailer park, and then there was a front there, but there was a house right in the front there, before the trailer park, and they had to tear it down. I think it was just abandoned, right? And they tore the house down, but there was stairs that led to the cellar that were there for a little bit. So you just see this kind of rubble, but then you'd see in the middle of that rubble an opening. And I once walked down those stairs. You know, it wasn't very long because they were gonna bury that, right? You know, they destroyed the house, the basement's still there. We'll go and bury that in a little bit. And I walked down the stairs, and there was a lot of stuff down there, and it was dark down those stairs. I swear to God, as I got near the bottom of the steps, I looked over and I saw a rocking chair, and I swear I saw someone sitting in it. Just sitting there in the dark by themselves, and I just fucking booked it up those stairs. I was like, fuck this, you know? I can't tell you much about it. A lot of my memory fails me as I get older, and a lot of things I try to suppress, I'm assuming. A lot of dark encounters. But there was definitely something strange about that place that we lived in. To this day, I kind of feel nervous going back there. You know, my sister moved in there again recently, and every time I have to go over to her house, I'm always kind of like, I don't know, I don't like it, because something doesn't feel right. There's a dark looming over this. Now, it's really affected my writing. There's a lot of deep symbology behind what it is that the lore of the world is in terms of mythology, but it's also intertwined with human existence. And that intertwining would be like mankind rose from the dark forest. The forest is this dark place, this cursed place. Clearly that's because of the forest that I knew growing up. Eris's home is destroyed in the beginning of the book, and he has to go off and find himself. Well, when our trailer had to be destroyed, that home's gone. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking gone. I can't go back and look at the childhood home. It's destroyed. So that part of me, what chapter is left unwritten. And so I kind of portrayed that with Eris. The darkness that loomed over this realm that we live in. It's a tiny, it's not even a village, it's a township that's just located between two small cities. Very small cities. It's basically something dark feels like it's there, and I wrote that in the stories as such. And even where I live right now, I live in a trailer park that is located near a store, and there's a forest between the store and this trailer park. But years ago, my sister that worked at that store encountered what she said was a Bigfoot, because her and this guy went outside to take the trash out of the store, and there was like a rustling in the bush in the distance, and then they're like, oh shit, and then all of a sudden a cat jumps out, and they're like, oh, okay. And she said all of a sudden this big lumbering thing jumped out, bipedal creature, looked at them and screamed, and she said it sounded like the roar of a lion. And they fucking fell and ran into the store and never talked about it since. And I live in that area. I live right where that encounter happened. I've walked that forest a lot, and it does have an interesting feeling there. One time I was walking in that forest recently, and I felt like something was following me. I was just walking by myself in that forest, and I felt like something evil was following me. I kept looking behind my shoulder, and I was like, Jesus. So I took a weird path. I went off the beaten path, and I hid in this area just to see if somebody would walk by or something looking for me. And I just remember with my mind, I tried to invoke the forest and just like say, banish this thing, get it out of here. All I have is this memory of this thing just getting shot off to the astral realm. That's all I can remember. There's something about this land that I live in that just feels cursed. It feels like something's wrong here. And that's the only, I wouldn't even say shamanistic, but that's the only experience I have when it comes to otherworldly things. It's very negative. It makes you realize why in America we see religion the way we do, because I don't know how to explain it, man. It feels like our land doesn't have these fae folk, and they're just benign, and as long as you leave offerings, they're fine. It just feels like they're fucking evil here. Like there's evil in this land. At least in the land that I dwell in and have been to. You know, in a 50 to 100 mile radius. It just feels dark and bad, and I don't like necessarily being here. This is just where I grew up. This is the land I inhabited. So it's really difficult to deal with this stuff. You know what I mean? Because we don't have this shamanistic people that can help us with this. It's just our local fucking Protestant preachers that are like, yeah, you know, Christ is the vessel. He wants to be with you. You know, like, accept Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, and, you know, nothing will go wrong. That's it. That's all we've ever known. It's just this very narrow, dogmatic view of, like, religion. And you couldn't get anything from it. It could be a distraction, sure, if you walk away. Maybe that's some reason for its existence, but there's not a whole lot of sacred anything out here. You know, we do live in a realm where the Native Americans once lived. And it's unknown because I didn't write anything. So I don't know what the hell happened out here, and I don't know the local histories of anything. We're in a young country. I mean, the city that I live near was founded only in the 1820s. Like, it's not a very old town. It's a young country, right? So we don't have this rich history of like thousands of years of struggle against the French, you know. We don't have anything like that. So it's a very conflicting, confusing land. And as someone who's trying to reach any sort of spiritual attainment of any kind, I have to basically channel the realm in which my family comes from, and that's Ireland, Wales, and Scotland, and England, the Britons. I have to channel that from so far away to have it to be my lens. Whereas the lens here just it's not meant for me. That's all I can say. I don't know how to say it any clearer than that. This land is not meant for me. It does not want me to be here. Whether that's a manifestation and growth of the Native American egregore of hate or some other crazy supernatural thing that I can't explain. I don't know, but I don't feel welcome here at all myself. And I know most people are like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Because you know how people are. They're very unaware because they don't want to be aware. So it's hard to really explain having some sort of shamanistic experience in my life because I've never really had it. I've just encountered some scary things, and every time I encounter or have in the past anything that's remotely otherworldly, it's so evil. Like, they do not want me here. They want me dead or injured. And the people that I know, there is not much positive otherworldly experience in the realm in which we come from. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know. It's like, well, you're not giving the right offerings. You're not doing this. I have no clue. Because again, I was not taught how to do this shit. We're so far from who we are as human beings that we think we are the cities that we live in and we are the stupid fucking things we buy. We think that now. We're so retarded when it comes to the way we live our lives. I am the Instagram account that I have. I am this iPhone that I bought. I am the house that I live in. You know how people are. Materialistic. And that's America in a huge nutshell, you know, between that and fucking crazy patriotism. It's so weird. I feel like I'm living in a dystopia. So I told you those mystical experiences because I wanted to kind of let you in on, like, it's only ever been negative for me. I don't have a whole lot of positive otherworldly encounters. And I want to say that because I want to explain I've never really had a shaman experience. I've never had a mystical guide to help me through this. But it's only of late when I really started to discover self that I feel entities guiding me. And through that, the creation of the book is being born. Is beings helping me do this. And I've gotten so many different explanations of, like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you might unravel the fabric of time, or you shouldn't fucking trust these because these are demonic entities that are forcing you to make something and you're just a vessel to... I've heard mostly negative stuff about it. So I don't know how to feel in the ways of what I'm doing in this world. It's so conflicting. And all I've ever been taught was how to fall in love with America and see it as the greatest country in the whole world. You know, that fucking shit. So I don't have a whole lot of personal kind of experiences that can help guide me in this world. As much as I would wish that I could, but that's just not in it. And I don't really know any more way to explain. Like, it's really strange, the kind of things that you have to go through. And learning about who you are as a person, and how you are a reflection of the world around you, and that which you encounter is some sort of conduit for that which exists in the plane of your existence. And we always talk about thin spots or veils or areas in which things can come through. You know, for instance, every Halloween I don't ever feel right. I'm just like, I don't like this. This is not okay. Because I just don't feel the positive entities coming through. It's always these negative, evil ones. And there's a lot of drug problems out here, and people are plagued by some sort of malevolent spirit. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a Native American god trying to pull through again, or if it's something crazier than that. I really couldn't tell you. But I really wish that I could have experienced shamans in my life to help guide me through this, or take me through the rituals, and teach me how to be at one with this land, because I want to be. I go outside, I live in the land, I sit down, I touch it, I try to meditate in it, and I just respect it, and I bring offerings out there all the time, like whether that's food that I didn't eat, or I would carcasses of chickens and stuff. I would bring out money and special rocks that I like, and I would leave it in the realm, and I would just try to be respectful of it, and I would pick trash up if I find it in the forest. You know, I try my best to be super respectful, but I just feel like it does not want me. And I've meditated, I've tried to speak to the land and said, thank you for all that you offer me, thank you for keeping me safe, and thank you for the beauty that you express to me. And I just feel unwelcome, and I don't know what to do with that. It's difficult, you know. I don't want to feel that way, but that's just the way it is. And so what else can one do in this situation? I don't know. It's tough, man. It really is. I don't know how to express to you just how fucking scary and how difficult it can be. And a lot of myself I've shut off when it comes to spiritual sensing and feeling and stuff. I usually keep it only to a human level. I sense things with others, or intent, or I try to read people. I can do that, but anything above that I just get nervous. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I should be fucking with it, because it just feels like it doesn't want me to. And so I try to respect it and not sense out, you know, and try to commune with the spirits of my realm, you know. I just give thanks and give offerings. That's all I'm going to do. This is their place. This is not something for me to be fucking with, and they made it very clear of that. Our existence out here is much of a disturbance to them. That much is clear. I don't know, man. That's the best I can explain in that. Do I want to have shamanist experiences? Fuck yes. I would love a spirit guide. I have my conveyor, you know, I have my guardian angel from the other realm that guides me. But a human that can help me establish this connection a lot better and help me see this world differently would be fantastic. But we'll see if that ever comes. But that's kind of generally how I feel about all that. So here is the trailer park in which we live in. This is an old factory. No, this is new. This wasn't here more than 5 years ago. So this is some new fucking place. I don't know what it is. This used to be an empty field here. But here's the entrance to the trailer park. And we lived right about here. See how small it is? That was there's a lot of houses around, right? But here's the forest that exists around us. Holy shit. This, I don't know what the fuck this is. This is new. I don't know what that shit is, because this was forest. Here's that area this was all forested too, so they ripped all these trees down. But this is the place where that weird, I don't know, wolf was limping out of. And this is the forested area in which we, lived around. And obviously, these are all new. This is a new development. So there was that. So this was all would have been just forests, all this shit. But as you can tell, they've cut a lot down to put these stupid fucking houses in. Look at the algae, man. Holy fuck. And there's that field, I remember. But yeah, this is where I live, right? I used to live out in this area. Man, I'm just sorry. This is all new fucking thing. Look at these assholes. Like, we get to be right in the middle. Look at us. We have our own little drive and fuck everyone else. But generally, it used to look just like this, just forests and empty areas as far as the eye could see. Interesting. It's hard to tell, what could have been what. But yeah, that's the tiny little trailer, this little square, and all these trailers in it. Again, I don't know what the fuck this is. What is this? I don't understand. What is it? Is a solar panel? No, that's like something to park under. Why would there be this back here? I should drive out there and find out what the hell's going on. But I'm trespassing if I do that. I don't live there anymore. Crazy. So look how many trailers are. A lot of these are still the same ones I remember. Like right now, Oh, weird. Wow, so crazy. I remember all this stuff. Down here, the road disappears. There's just a drop. You can kind of see it just drops down, and there's like a pump house here where the water comes from. I don't know if they can drink the water yet or not, but when I was growing up, we weren't allowed to drink the water. It was contaminated with shit, so we had to boil it first. But yeah, I remember there was something eerie about this place, and as I told you, this is where there was a house right in this area, and this is where that encounter happened. If I went down the stairs there and saw that fucking freaky shit. Just so crazy, man. It's just so crazy. So weird.